Okay.
Okay, a good evening to everyone. Welcome to the next episode of VenTalk, and today we'll be talking about Joyous Perseverance part number 1. And always we have here our venerable Jonathan
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you guys here.
and students from Wisdom United, myself, Nicholas, and Lex.
Hi guys, nice to see you all here.
Okay, now let's begin.
Okay, so now when we are talking about joyous perseverance, right? Lex and Nicholas, can you guys provide some examples for joyous perseverance?
Okay, first I would like to go first. So, based on my definition, joyous perseverance, I personally think is a great enthusiasm in doing something with sensational attitude. So, what is sensational attitude towards me? Is no procrastination or laziness. Okay, this one, I'm sure some of you have it. Okay, it's definitely a very, very bad habit, and we shouldn't cultivate in it. And consistency of doing things in delight. For example, life as a musician, back then I used to love practicing. I used to look forward for all kind of performance. Yeah, that's what I enjoy as a musician back then. How about you, Lex?
Okay, so for me, the definition of joyous perseverance basically means having a continuous state of mind that feels great joy when we are doing virtuous deeds or when we are helping other beings. So, for example, like Nick, right, his passion for music in the past, right, it's something like joyous perseverance, just that the passion is shifted to doing virtuous actions and helping others. Okay, so let's hear from Fashi. What is the model answer for what is joyous perseverance?
Okay, so joyous perseverance is the delight in virtue. So from the teaching, the Bodhisattva level explained it is a flawless state of mind that is enthusiastic about accumulating virtues and working for the welfare of living beings. So we have to work for living beings, and together with the physical, verbal, and mental activities, the state of mind motivate us to push forward. So are you guys motivated?
Yes, but still have some afflictions, Pasha.
Okay, so there's another point. So when we focus on something virtuous, we will have advanced bravely and aggressively towards the non-virtues. So if we do something that is great, we will avoid doing something that is bad. Okay, so moving on, Nicholas.
Okay, now moving on is how to begin the cultivation of joyous perseverance. Let's go, Lex.
Okay, so to begin the cultivation of joyous perseverance, right? One very important way, or rather one compulsory way to push us to develop joyous perseverance and not give up on it, is to frequently reflect upon the benefits and faults to develop joyous perseverance. Okay, so usually when we do things, right, we do things because we know its benefits, and then we don't give up on them because we know we don't give up on them because we know that the benefits are very important to us. The benefits are is very beneficial, and then we also know the faults of giving up on them. Yeah, okay. So we have to frequently reflect and really contemplate on what are the benefits and faults. So, Fasha, what are some of the benefits of joyous perseverance?
Okay, so what are the benefits? So when one joyously persevere, has no difficulty accomplish any project. So he has no difficulty accomplish any object, whether they are super mundane or mundane. Okay, and one is not brought down by propensity, prosperity, afflictions, discouragement, or petty attainments. So based on the Bodhisattva level, it is the principal and highest cause for the correct attainment of a Bodhisattva good attitudes. And the Tathagata is the Buddha, declared that joyous perseverance is what bring about the attainment of unsurpassed and perfect enlightenment. So do you guys want to get perfect enlightenment?
Definitely, Pasha
Far
is
from it.
my happiness.
Okay. All right, Nick.
Now, I would like to add on from what Pasha had to say from another side, which is the Compendium of the Perfection also states that if you are free of fatigue and have great joyous perseverance, there is nothing you cannot attain or accomplish. Isn't that great? So whatever you desire, you definitely get it because you have joyous perseverance. So isn't it something that we all should cultivate? So if you cultivate this, I'm sure we will definitely be we will definitely improve ourselves, our well-being. So having perfect joyous perseverance will allow anyone to accomplish any goals they set for themselves. And it also serves as a shield against all forms of distractions, desires, and negative emotions like discouragement. So, for example, I gotta say, I'm very excited every single Friday, 7:45 p.m. to attend my Wisdom United class with Lex here also. So I'm very determined to walk the path, and I want to do my best to eradicate all sufferings and obtain ultimate happiness. And these are the few factors that always keep me from going, which is I'm very happy to see my fellow classmates in class, and I'm delighted to have discussion in the teachings because I really can learn more and really practice, for example, like how to listen to the teachings from others, or even how to listen to others, their views on these certain teachings that we are discussing. And we are even very content, okay, in reading the teachings. So I gotta take this opportunity to omark every single youth leaders in Wisdom United. So Lex, how about the faults of not cultivating joyous perseverance?
Okay. Thanks, Nick and Fashi, for covering the benefits. Now I'll be talking about the faults. Okay, as to the faults of not joyously persevering, I'll be using two actual quotes from two of the sutras. So the first one is from the Questions of Sugaramati Sutra. It states that the enlightenment of the lazy is exceedingly far off and distant. The lazy lack all perfections, from generosity to wisdom. The lazy do not work for others' welfare. Okay, so that's the first sutra. For the second sutra, which comes from Mindfulness of the Excellent Teaching, it states as well: whoever has laziness, the single basis of the afflictions. Whoever feels even some laziness, not all laziness, just some laziness, right? He lacks all good qualities. So, thus, if one lacks joyous perseverance, right, he comes under the influence of laziness and becomes poor in all good qualities. Okay, even a little laziness serves as a huge obstacle for the obtaining of any goals or virtuous characteristics like generosity. Okay, so why do I say even a little laziness? Some of you may feel that today I like to slack a bit, it's okay, right? But actually, right, this is because laziness, right, will become a habit not just in our current, but also in our future lives. So if you keep cultivating this habit, right, we will cause one to be less and less motivated to do virtuous deeds or even to chase our mundane goals, not just super mundane, right? So for now, right, I'll be sharing one example. This is a very true example for myself. I repent, but I still do it sometimes. So whenever I'm in my room, right, and I have nothing going on, no task going on, I tend to lie on my bed and then I just use my phone to watch Netflix, or I just mindlessly stream random videos on YouTube. Yeah, and this happens so long that until I fall asleep, because I just feel that this is the easiest thing to do, just chill and relax instead of doing something virtuous which needs some effort to do. And when this happens many times, this creates like this vibe, at least this feeling in my room. Whenever I step into my room, right, I'll just feel tired and unmotivated. I see my bed, I just want to lie there, and fall asleep. Okay. So even though I learned from Lamrim about the mindfulness of death, um, the life of leisure and opportunity, right? So I learned about the preciousness of time in our lives and preciousness of Lamrim, how hard it is to see it. I still waste it on meaningless activities sometimes because my habitual laziness wins my determination to do virtuous deeds. So this just goes to show how bad and how strong laziness is if we continue to cultivate it. Okay.
But Lex, I'm sure you are on safe hands because we are very lucky to meet the teachings, and we will slowly change our bad habits from there. But Fashi, wow, isn't that laziness that affects so many good qualities and do not work for others' welfare? Isn't that a little bit too harsh?
Well, I guess it's not easy to be perfect or to reach your next potential. But then let us show you the way on how we can achieve this joyous perseverance. All right. So for the types of joyous perseverance, there are one type called the armor-like joyous perseverance. What do you think of when you think about armor-like, like a prince or knight, right? Okay, so before Bodhisattva joyously worked for the welfare of all sentient beings, spontaneous means straight away, without thinking, a spontaneous and extremely compassionate thoughts rises in their mind. So what are the thoughts of, what is this thoughts? A thought of enduring suffering for the sake of all sentient beings and wishing to save them from the suffering. So it's just like a prince that is ready to save his people. Okay. Or another analogy, like a child who falls into a river. So his parents will endure all of the hardship to save his beloved child. Okay. And next, joyous perseverance of gathering virtue and acting for the welfare of beings. So intensively and continuously applying the sixth perfection. So I think we have gone through the first four perfection. This is the fourth perfection. So the first one is generosity, second, ethical discipline, third, patience, and now joyous perseverance. So we try to practice them every day in our daily life with the intention of I want to benefit all sentient beings, my friends and family members.
Wow, Fashi, I see. So I actually personally feel that the armor light is actually a prevent of loss of merits because you actually prevent yourself from getting your affliction arises. And while gathering virtue and acting for the welfare of living beings is actually a gaining of merits because you're benefiting more and more people. So I'm sure by doing so, more and more people will definitely if everyone cultivates this, I tell you, the world is definitely a better place. More people will like each other. More people will respect each other. It's a thing that we all are working towards it. Now, moving on. So after we know the types of joyous perseverance, there are actually methods of developing joyous perseverance, and we are going to the first point, which is eliminating unfavorable conditions. So what are some examples of unfavorable conditions? It can be afflictions, which are the three poisons: greed, ignorance, and anger. However, we'll be focusing more on laziness and procrastination. So unfavorable conditions. So this one I'm very guilty because I have the laziness of procrastination, thinking there is still time. So any kind of work that I have, I always think, yeah, still have time, so I do it later, and keep pushing, then end up, oh no, I need to suffer because I need to finish in one day. So that is the danger of laziness or procrastination that we all should take note. So the next point is, I'm not procrastinating, but overwhelmed by attachment to inferior and common activities. I have to say, okay, I'm sure some of you guys heard of this game called Mobile Legends. Okay, I like to play with friends. So when I should spend this time wisely on teachings that is more beneficial and or work that is able to help more people, I shouldn't spend my time on mobile games, which is just for my own greed, my own laziness, and procrastination. So therefore, this is a point that all of us should take note. Laziness arises from craving. Okay, laziness arises from craving based upon indolences. For example, avoiding tiring activities, and of course the enjoyment of pleasure and sleep. We all love to sleep. So no, not all, maybe some of us. Okay, and from a lack of disenchantment with the suffering of cyclic existence. So we definitely need to contemplate more on the suffering that we have in the cyclic existence. So I would like to bring in one topic, which is the mindfulness of death, as a push for us to prevent us from laziness and procrastination. So there are a few factors. Death is certain. Okay, we all know that most of our time goes to eating, sleeping, showering, all those necessities we need to face. So those time of doing beneficial things to help people is actually that short. It's not as much as we think. And the next point I would like to bring in is time of death is uncertain. Okay, we have a skeleton, but still we are very fragile. Okay, human activities like maybe those kind of construction can kill can cause us death so easily. And therefore, by contemplating this, we will do more beneficial things for yourself and definitely others. For example, earning money to donate to people who are in need. So moving on, Lex, how do we stop this laziness?
Okay, thanks, Nick. Okay, so to stop this laziness, right, I'll be sharing about three thinkings, and they link to some of the topics that you guys, those who attend Lamrim lessons will learn about: mindfulness of death, and life of leisure and opportunity, and also the karma topic. So, what are the three thinkings to stop laziness, right? The first one is that due to mindfulness of death, right, that the body we have at present right now, look at our body, right? The body you have at present, right, is rapidly disintegrating because death is certain, and honestly, we don't know when we are going to die. So it is true to say that right now, right, our bodies are all decaying slower and slower, and we're advancing towards our death. That's definitely true. Okay, that's the first thinking. And then what happens after death? That's the second thinking. After death, right, to be honest, most of us, we don't know where we will go. So as we learn from the Lamri, right, there are 6 realms in the cycle existence, and we wouldn't know where we will go after we die. Because firstly, right, we don't know when we're going to die. Same mindfulness of death. And then it's also very hard to speculate where we end up because karma is complicated and there are many causes from a single factor. So what we can do now is to really use our precious time to go and do all the virtuous activities, so we can end up in a good state and actually meet the Buddha's teachings again. Okay, the complete Buddha's teachings again. And the last thinking, right, is that we have to use the life of leisure and opportunity. Okay, it's difficult to find an excellent life such as this one again. As we learn, right, there are a lot of factors that may prevent us from learning the Buddhism. So right now, since we have all the faculties, we have all the chances, we have all the guru, the dharma, we should really go and treasure our time. Okay, so another favorable condition I'm going to share about is discouragement. So I don't know for you guys, but for me, right, sometimes I subconsciously discourage myself. I think, oh my God, I have so many bad habits. How am I going to clear all of them, in this life? I think it will take such a long time. So once this kind of thought comes out, right, I don't even need to say it out, right? I'm just discouraging myself already. So what we need to think, right, about discouragement is that being discouraged and remaining discouraged, right, brings no benefit at all, and it will only lead to further discouragement. So it's like a vicious cycle. Okay, it will just lead to further discouragement. Understand well the methods for achieving enlightenment, and we have to uplift our minds. Okay, so we have to cheer ourselves up and say, oh, we can do it. When we do this, the completion of our aims is as if it's in our hands because we are already on the right path. So we know we'll reach there eventually. Okay. Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, thank you. So after talking about the unfavorable condition, just now we talked about mindfulness of death. But then mindfulness of death is actually a very positive topic. No, when people heard of the word death, they are like, oh, why are we so sad? Actually, no, when you heard of the word death, right, we know that time is precious and we have to spend time on meaningful things. Okay, so we have to make full use of our time. And just now, let's talk about discouragement that always bring us down and let us unmotivated. But then we have to motivate ourselves and have the drive to continue to push on. So what should we do? So now let us talk about the favorable condition. The first one is developing the power of aspiration. So what is develop aspiration? Is to meditate or think on how pleasant or unpleasant effect arise from virtuous and non-virtuous deeds. Okay, so when you do something that is good, you have positive effect. When you do something that is bad, you have negative effect. So with this faith, this act as the basis of yearning. So yearning is the desire of wanting to do what you want to do. Okay, so we have to develop the attitude of I need to do it versus I want to do it. Because when you feel that I need to do it, no matter what, you will try your best to do it. But then if you only have the attitude of I want to do it or I should do it, then maybe you do not have enough force to push yourself. Okay, so the faith of conviction in the two type of karma and their effect will generate two kind of desire. So what are the two kind of desire? Eliminate non-virtuous karma and to continue to do more virtuous karma. So after contemplating the benefit of doing it and the fault of not doing it, then success come in. Success comes from hard work, and you can read from the stories of successful leaders. I'm sure when you Google it, there's a lot of story of successful leaders, and all of them, they put a lot of effort in everything they do. Okay, so with karma, we know that everything that we do, or most of the things we do, are positive. This will make sure that we will be going to a better next life. All right, so let us move on to the next point.
Yes, so the next point is actually developing the power of steadfastness. So what is steadfastness? It means that you bring whatever you do, you bring it to conclusion, you finish it without turning back, means you do not give up. And of course, anything at which you joyously persevere means you do it full of happiness without afflictions. Without afflictions, you got to battle or eliminate all kinds of afflictions. So at this point, okay, I'd like to share a few pointers for the power of steadfastness. First, do not try to do everything. So before you start doing something, you have to examine the situation carefully, whether we have enough resources, whether we have enough manpower, something like that. So if you see you can do it, you engage in it. Whereas you cannot do it, you do not do it. Sometimes these factors may be easy, but sometimes we may overlook it. We don't look at this and we just start doing it without much contemplation. So in short, complete a task with the attitude of joyously persevering. So the next point I would like to point out that we all should know, you should not even start in the first place things you do for a while and then discard it. Means you don't do it halfway. You must really complete all the way, or else just don't do. Okay, why do I say this? The reason is that if you become if it becomes a habit of giving up in the middle, okay, then right, we will always have this let's say you desire to earn a lot of money, but because of this habit we give up from ourselves from earning a lot of money, which is definitely not good. So if we cultivate this power of steadfastness, okay, we prevent ourselves from the habit of giving up. And one good example is for example, you're funded by a company to do this project. Then after that you use some of the resources to buy this, buy that, but in the end, out in the middle, you give up. So in the end, you also have to cover the losses. You need to pay back to the company. So isn't that a lot of trouble and a lot of time wasted? So therefore, in summary, cultivate on committing yourself to do something, but ensure accomplishment of it. Okay, yeah. So that is the power of steadfastness. So how about the developing the power of joy?
Okay, so for the power of joy, right? Before the power of joy, do you guys still remember what are the two powers before? Do you remember what they are? Okay, so you develop the power of joy after the two powers. The first one is the power of aspiration, okay, which what Nick mentioned, an intense yearning, which produces a joyous perseverance not previously present. Then after that, you go to the power of steadfastness, which causes this perseverance to be irreversible. Okay, so what about the power of joy? The power of joy basically means that when you first engage in an activity, you do it joyfully. And once you have engaged, you have a sense of being insatiable in that you do not want to discontinue the activity. So this is a little bit like power of steadfastness, but in this case, right, it's like we are talking about the happiness that when you are engaging in virtue. So this is similar to, when you guys are watching a Netflix series, right? The charm of the storyline will continue to push you to continue to watch, right? Like, oh my God, is this guy going to die? Or, hey, are two of them going to get together? You have this yearning to want to watch it. Yeah, this attitude, right? Instead of using it for Netflix, it should be used for doing virtuous deeds instead, okay? So, okay, another point I want to say, right, is that if ordinary people strive even when they are uncertain whether they'll obtain a pleasant result. So for instance, in competitions, right, you don't know whether you get first or you don't know whether you get the rewards, right? But you still strive very hard. Even though it's so uncertain, you still strive, right? So what need is there to speak about activities which are certain to bear pleasurable results? So you do this virtuous activity, right? You confirm get the good result. Yeah, so you definitely must make doing virtuous deeds your priority. Okay? So what about the last power?
Okay, so last but not least, the power of relinquishment. So what does it mean? If you become physically or mentally fatigued, you must rest for a while. So in front, we keep on saying that we have to push, we have to push, we have to push. But then now, yeah, don't push too much. You have to rest for a while if you are fatigued. Otherwise, you will become very exhausted and very disheartened, preventing you from moving forward. But then immediately after you have rested, work again. You have to complete your task and do not let this satisfy you. So if you have completed your task, move on to do more meaningful things. So you will keep on doing more and more meaningful things. So for the conclusion, do not overexert yourself. You must avoid both overly intense and overly relaxed. So we cannot be too intense and we cannot be too relaxed. Okay, and learn how to strike a balance so that your effort will continuously flow like a river. So do you guys observe river before? No, they keep on floating very smooth, but then they never stop. So this is the effort of joyous perseverance.
Wow. Rejoice, Pastor. So now, moving on, after you eliminate unfavorable conditions and you gather the favorable conditions, what is next? So, it is the being intent of joyously persevering. So there's two factors to this. First one is take defensive precautions to avoid wounds to the mind. So you imagine this as a sword and destroy afflictions by applying remedies. So you imagine this like you destroy afflictions such as laziness. So for example, like a sword fight, there's two swordmen. Okay, both will definitely avoid blows of weapons directed to them and destroying their opponent. So there's these two factors. The sword is mindfulness, while the opponent is laziness. Example, when I'm about to start doing work, okay, the feeling of procrastination arises. So that is my opponent. So then there is a need to be mindful of this. So there is a sword, and contemplate the effects of procrastination itself, and destroy using the sword to destroy the procrastination in the mind before it takes action, which may end up no work done. How about another example, Lex?
Okay, so talking about laziness, right? You and procrastination. I'll take the example of a poison arrow that makes just a small surface wound. Okay, before long, the poison from this wound will spread throughout the entire body. You must operate on the wound and remove the poison. So similarly, when wrong behavior does not make anything more than a small wound in the mind, if you ignore it, it will quickly pervade your mind so it becomes large. So what do I mean by that? So some things like laziness, right? Even if you're a little lazy, or not just about laziness, when we have a bad habit, a very small bad habit, like throwing sweet wrapper on the ground, okay? We might think that this is nothing big, but this is actually something big, okay? There are two reasons for it. Firstly, I can bring in the topic of karma from Lamrim. So we know that karma, whether good or bad, right? Karma will magnify, okay? So when we do these kind of actions, if we don't go and truly repent and stop doing it, right, the bad karma will magnify until it causes us a lot of suffering. That's the first point. And the second point goes to habits, okay? So, right, if you keep throwing sweet wrapper, right, you throw every day, right? 1 year, right, you throw 365 sweet wrappers. And so on and so on. And then in the end, right, from a very small bad karma, right, you come to a very, very large bad karma, which may cause your future life to, I don't know, live in a dumpster or something. Yeah, so it's a lot of suffering. So at the start, you must really prevent the wrongdoing before it takes place. And if it really happens, you must discontinue it and go and repent. Okay?
Yes, thank you, Lex. So I guess bad habit is very hard to take away, or it's very hard to eliminate it. So when you're concentrating or when you're doing something, and if you experience the causes of laziness, like sleepiness, you must confront them and destroy them, just like what Nick say. Use the sword of mindfulness and destroy the opponent, laziness or sleepiness, and restrain yourself thinking, from now on, I shall make use that this thought never occurs. So you must tell the thought, you can never come back and harm me again. And after contemplation of all of the development of joyous perseverance, practice any kind of joyous perseverance in association with the earlier chapters that we have mentioned. What are the earlier chapters? Generosity, morality, and patience. So if you guys want to know more, you guys can refer to the VenTalk earlier on.
Yes, I'm sure if we are able to put joyous perseverance with the other factors, we will definitely gain more memories, we'll definitely benefit more people and end up benefiting ourselves too. So now let's come to the summary, what we have actually discussed today. So the definition of joyous perseverance is delight in virtue, which is the flawless state of mind to help all beings. Next, we went on to reflect on the benefits of joyous perseverance and faults of not practicing joyous perseverance. So by doing so, you accomplish all goals and obtain all benefits and eliminate all afflictions. Then remember there's types of joyous perseverance. So there's like armor light. Remember the armor light. So what does the armor light and joyous perseverance mean? Joyously work for the welfare of all beings with spontaneous and extreme compassion. Next, we move to eliminate unfavorable conditions such as laziness, procrastination, or discouragement. And the next one is gather forces of favorable conditions, which is the power of aspiration, which is to aspire to fully master the teachings to benefit all sentient beings. State the power of steadfastness, which is the completion of tasks with joyous perseverance. Next is the power of joy, develop an attitude of doing things with full of joy and that you do not want to disconnect with this activity. Lastly, which is the power of relinquishment, which is the quality rest when you push yourself so much through when the mind is physically and mentally fatigued, so that we'll refresh ourselves to continuously persevere.
Okay, thanks Nick, and thanks Fashi. Okay, so now after Nick finished the summary, we are nearing the end of this video. Yeah, this stream. So I would like you guys, right, all of you watching here, I would like you guys to take out your phones, or if you have a pen and paper, right, you can take it out also. So I want you to write this question down. What is something that you will joyously persevere to benefit you and others? Yeah, I'll go and write it down, and you guys can contemplate over the week, or just contemplate and try to apply it in the teachings, because contemplation is a very important thing in Buddhism. Yeah, and contemplation will really deepen our understandings on the teachings, right? Okay, lastly, I want to do a shout out to everyone watching this VenTalk. In commemoration of Youth Day, BW Monastery has come up with a special edition mass prayer group, MPG, for youths, and is organized by the BW youths themselves. Okay, in this session, right, we'll explore on the difficulties or relationship problems we face in life, and how prayers to the Buddhas or Bodhisattvas will lead us closer to them and support us through any hurdles we face in day-to-day life. Our theme for this year is Buddha loves you. Okay, so there are three important characteristics the Buddha embodies: compassion, wisdom, and courage. In this session, our venerables will be coming online to guide us in exploring how these three embodiments is the reason to Buddha's unwavering love for each and every one of us. Buddha treats us as his only beloved child, every one of us, okay? So as we count down to the youth mass prayer group, you may join us on our online activity by scanning the QR code on the screen below, or visit our day-by-day website for more information. The event will be held on Sunday, 4th July, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Mark it down on your calendars, 2 weeks from today. You may come online 15 minutes prior to the start of the event. Okay, we hope to see you all for the event soon. Okay, rejoice all. Thank you. Rejoice all for watching this VenTalk.
All right, now we have come to the end of our VenTalk, and definitely look forward for the next one. So see you next one on the next episode of VenTalk, which is Joyous Perseverance Part 2. Good night, everybody.